We're live. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Out of the Fast Lane podcast. I'm your host, Brady Hauser. Well, as you can see, my guest right now is playing with his dog. But we have Peter Neuder from SLR here joining us. SLR, if you don't know, is a popular iRacing series that runs on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays and all sorts of racing. So, Peter, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, how's things?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, things are pretty wild. Last week we had a couple blacklistings, a little bit of a fight, but it's going great, man.
Does that happen a lot in the iRacing scene?
Oh, absolutely. It's either straight lines or right rears or someone yelling at somebody or arguing with somebody. I mean, what else is worse?
So obviously, have you ever been involved in one of those? Are you the
Yes.
type of driver that likes to roughen up a little bit?
Well, no, but I have been straight line before. I mean, there's one that actually
Been
went
there, done
head
that.
on to head on. You know, I mean,
I've been there, done that.
it's not fun.
Um, so obviously we just had the SLR. You had the SLR 50s this past weekend, which of course is your 50 lap events that you do every night on Twitch at 6:30. But let's jump right into things. So what is SLR for the people at home that don't know?
SL SLR is a special thing for the open community of iRacing. SLR started as nothing, a small tip stream, 1, 2 live viewers, and all of a sudden it just blew up. And now it's becoming the league where if you go to a local racetrack and there's merch available, there's, broadcasting, there's freaking great announcing. I mean, now you got some of the best drivers show up. It's like a whole world for someone to come and iRacing.
Hmm. And obviously, like getting to have real drivers come and race it. I'm sure that's also pretty cool to have some of them guys come in on a weekly basis.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen Dylan Swinehart show up. I've seen Anthony Perego show up. I've seen, Peyton Talbot shows up. Bryce Bailey. The
Mhm.
the guys that are in the local houses, they come in as well. It's pretty wild to know that some of these drivers actually know who you are. Like Nichols Ham's going to be a new driver coming up. Jesse Herthler. He was at Port Royal the other day. You
Hmm.
know, it's gonna be
Hmm.
pretty interesting to see what exactly. Like right there's Bryce Bailey himself. Love
Hmm.
the kid, man. He's a good guy.
I mean, and it's kind of cool that the drivers themselves they bring their own paint schemes over as well from the real world, so they're running the same cars that they run out on the racetrack on the virtual racetrack. So I'm sure that's cool for you to get to see that as well.
Absolutely.
Hmm. So obviously, like you mentioned, the SLR 50s. Tell me a little bit about those. I know you started those more recently, and you've been getting a lot of pretty big names coming in there and racing from the iRacing world.
Well, the SLR 50, man, I think it's been a blessing. I mean, a lot of guys they want to run that big show. They see 50 laps and they're like, "Ooh, how do I jump in?" Feature winner stickers, T-shirts happen. 50/50 drawings is like the subscriptions, to the chat stream. Just a random winner type thing, and it brings a lot of hype and buzz. And a lot of guys have told me, "Hey, man, my family's got you on TV. Like they want to see, what I'm doing and why I'm doing it." So it's amazing though to get that local racing scene. And believe me, we've seen the fans before in the chats. Ooh, this guy, hey, that guy, cracking beers kind of thing. But
Hmm.
it's amazing to see what it's come out to be.
Hmm. Quick sponsor plug. This podcast is sponsored to you by Swagger Factory Apparel and Parks Companies LLC. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. Um, so yeah, obviously SLR 50s. I mean, you have like because the World of Outlaws they have their own dirt iRacing series as well. You're getting their top like because they only pick like the top 40 drivers in the world to go and run that, and you're getting like 10 or 15 of them on a weekly basis coming right into your server. So that's
Mm-hmm.
also pretty cool to bring them guys in there as well.
Yeah, Ryan Kuthal, man, he's gonna be pro this year,
Hmm.
straight out. That's
Hmm.
one of the drivers that and I've seen him. He's poked my bear a couple times. He's gonna be one of those top guys to watch. As he literally dominated the last SLR 50, but he had Ryan Miller on him
Hmm.
behind him as well. So you know, there's gonna be some guys you're gonna see with that new WPWC license this year. I can see
Hmm.
it.
And obviously, like the competition level that brings it that brings a whole little bit of like hype to it. Obviously, you got like the best of the best fighting for all tooth and nail for one win.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the SLR 50 late model edition last weekend, Zach Mcswain of all people, all the ZMR guys showed up. They had, I think it was like 5 cautions, but once they got all that cleared up, man, 35, 40 laps with nothing but green all the way, and they do it.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, so Zach McSwain, he's a pro late model driver as well in the car series.
Yes, he's a Ryko setup builder too. That's basically Ken Byron's second man. Like, hey, as I'm actually bringing up that results tab right as we speak for that pro late model 50,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't at Eldora, it was at Learned.
So you also get all these setup shops and stuff involved, and all these teams coming together to race on there, and they're always looking for new drivers. So do you like seeing that as well?
Oh, absolutely. But then there's also, like, I'm gonna put him out there. He don't want me to, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Tyler Ducharme that day. I think you were a part of that. You heard that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came into an SLR show at Williams Grove, and I think him and his top 3 guys, Loic and another driver. I can't think of the top of the name. Mike Guano, and Ducharme finished 1, 2, 3, and then he said in his interview, said, "I'm going to be here all night. You want to come beat me? Come beat me." Well, that sparked the whole nation.
Hey! If you gotta do what you gotta do, you gotta bring some competition to there.
Well,
And you look at
ahead.
you look at SLR, and I mean the competition level. You're packing in 60 drivers in each server every week.
Mm-hmm.
So competition level is top of the line. You got from kids that are younger than me, as you know, to
Mm-hmm.
70-year-old men that are in there racing. It's
Mm-hmm.
brings in some of the best competition around because you got just that mixture of everybody racing.
Right. And that's the beautiful thing of iRacing. Yeah, they might have the same engine. Yeah, they might have the same shocks and springs, but anybody can come in and have a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't go that way, with the no quick repairs or anything like that. But that's real life racing.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is 23rd, crashes and you're 35th, you get part of it. What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm. Been through that because I've
We
ran
all have.
I run it. I actually, for people that don't know, I buy racing myself, and I run iRacing in part of your servers, and I can say about probably more than 50% of the time I'm not making the show. I'm just there to have fun. I mean, let's be real. There's some top level equipment, and then there's just guys that are out there that you gotta watch out for because if coming to green, you got people that are going every other way. You don't know where you're gonna go, and sometimes it just doesn't end up your way. But a lot of fun for sure. So we'll get a little bit into your racing background. What first got you into racing?
I'll tell you. I will tell you right here.
Oh,
Honestly, seriously, I'll tell you right here, man. Like, I'm telling you right here. My go-kart days, man.
wow,
I
that was
I Yes, sir. Back in the day, man, I started go-kart racing back when I was 4 years old. My father bought like an old straight chassis with a push start sprigs, and I would do laps around the yard and tear things up. And my family owned an ice factory, so that was the biggest sponsor we had. And I dang near think I've been racing real life for almost 16 years. From go karts to sprint cars to street stocks to late models and whatnot. That's why I started SLR, because I hung my helmet up and I said, man, watching Mike Millard's videos and things like that, I was like, man, I could do that. So I went ahead and dumped a bunch of money into a system and rig and thought I was going to be racing, but that changed out to be different.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, so you mentioned you ran street stocks and late models. Where was your home track at that time?
Oh, I'll tell you what, good old Hagerstown Speedway, buddy. Good
That's
old
you.
Hagerstown Speedway. That's
Wow,
mine.
man,
That is
this
mine,
is
baby. Has
man,
an
this is right out there. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. That was a black front rocket that I bought from Randy Burkholder. He lives right down the road from me still. and I kept it at his house at the time. And you know, putting all the work and time and hours by yourself is what kills it. When you're doing everything all alone, you're trying to fix everything on your own, and try to do something. But the greatest thing in the matter of fact is, I wasn't the greatest late model driver in the world, but I'm still out there.
Great. And the fans respect that, they
Yeah,
get to see, hey, that's just one more car to add to their field of who to watch. But yeah, that's awesome. So you started go-kart racing and then you made your way over to a late model. So going from a go-kart transitioning to a sprint car and then transitioning to a late model street stock,
yep.
sure was a little tough.
Oh, absolutely. I've had help. I had like the Bennett's that helped me back here today. The crazy thing is it's hard to get started in racing these days. I mean, if you don't have 50, 60K in your pocket, you're trying to build a car, you can't go to a junkyard anymore to build a car. You can't go grab a junkyard motor anymore these days. And, that's what the beauty of iRacing is. If you don't have that kind of money or funds or things, it's nice to be able to sit in here with your like quick connect steering wheels or, whatever you got and be able to race and not worry about if you get into a wreck, you got to fix it. It's the greatest thing ever.
Oh yeah, especially that quick repair. That's if in real life that's every driver's dream. If they could have a quick repair, they would be using it quite a bit.
Absolutely. I would be all over that, Here was something really cool back in the day with me and my dad, and they actually made an article of me and my dad racing together and whatnot. Sorry, that is hard to see, but me and my father, my dad, wasn't anything without my dad back in the day of go-kart racing, or my whole family back in the day. And my dad's still alive, but the rest of the family, they're pretty much gone, and I'm just trying to find another way to bring that back into a virtual world,
Right. And people got to respect that, and that's awesome that you do that. So you got to race Hagerstown Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like? I'm sure that's got to be a fun track to race at weekly.
Long straightaways. I tell you, when you come out of those corners, and you got nobody beside you, and you got the guy in front of you, you got a guy behind you, and you're just like, wow, wow, like just stepping on it, and then you throttle down all the way, almost like Port Royal too, because like you're flying. I mean, you're going about $130, going into them. It's another half-mile track, and right there it is, and it's like another half-mile track. It's just as big as Port Royal, and when you're going into that corner, you're either digging or you're sliding. And like usually I just lift out through halfway through the center because you know how fast you're going into it. But that track alone has been in my family for years. Like we delivered ice to that track, I mean, beautiful facility when, but man, I tell you, it's scary fast sometimes going into that thing, man. Banking's not that banked either, man. But then sometimes when you're in a street stock, it's like reading a book. You're like, oh, when do I get to the next corner? So, maybe also a little quicker.
So, tell me a little bit more. So we'll get a little bit more into SLR. Obviously, you guys run weekly. Yeah, it's a lot of racetracks. So when do you guys run? I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I'll let you kind of bring it in. How often are we running weekly?
So it's every weekend is the open sessions. Now I know we want to talk about something a little more, but I do have an SLR Discord, where I host all polls and everything else like that. For the weekend warrior shows, what I call it, it's open wheel Fridays now. So I get off work around like 2:30 on Fridays, normal days, and I'll start up shows by 3:30, and then I'll run until the ex-wife kicks me off or whatnot. You know how that works. And then during Saturday and Sundays at 9:30, all the way until at least 4:30, 5 o'clock, then get ready for the 50 lappers. That the Friday 50 lappers always at 7:30, and the Saturday and Sunday 50 lappers are 6:30, but their weekend warrior shows begin at 9:30.
Hmm. So a lot of numbers there for people who listen at home.
Yeah.
But it's good that you guys are racing so often. It gives a lot of people things to do that, especially in a world right now where everything is a little confusing and chaos. It's always good to come back to a video game, get to have a little bit of fun with some buddies, and on a broadcast too. That's pretty cool. I mean, you guys are
Yeah, I
broadcasting
mean,
live on Twitch, so that's awesome.
yeah, that's the greatest thing about it. I remember when I first started doing this, Brady. It was guys would look at me crazy, like, "What's this guy talking about? Like, who is this guy?" Like, and then all of a sudden the word started getting around. It's like, "Oh, that's the guy that does all interviews and whatnot." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I heard about that guy and whatnot." It's crazy. Um, like I said, I bought this for the racing. I don't even race anymore. Like it's every day. It's gone from one thing to another, and I'm working on the merch too of this as well.
Yeah, and I see that you have a shirt on right now. Obviously, Brandon Schatz, he's one of your iRacers. He picked up a win a couple weeks ago. So, tell me a little bit about this merchandise deal you got going on.
Well, it's called the SLR store. SLR merch store. I think it's www.streamlabs.com/SLR0X merch. And essentially, what I'm doing is I am going out and finding your guys' designers, and I'm putting them on the store for guys to get fans of. So if there's fans of Brady Hauser out there and you want his T-shirt, you let me know, and I'll get a hold of somebody, and we'll get that out there, and you can buy his shirt on the store. And the greatest thing is you can just buy one shirt, just one, with this type of quality.
Yeah,
Really.
it's a nice shirt, obviously, and it's cool that you got your logo in there as well. You threw that in there. Um, so what's your overall goal with that? Is it to get some more iRacers involved and try to get them a little bit of their own marketing, or is it just to, hey, I have a T-shirt now?
Yeah, basically, I mean, we all know our wives and friends and family, like I was saying earlier, how parents watch their kids race on SLR. Well, they see that James Donaldson, speaking of the devil, who had their parents actually on TV watching him while he was racing the last 50 lapper. Well, maybe they would like to see James Donaldson t-shirts, So what it's going to do is it's going to try to bring families even closer to a simulator. The best way I can think of it.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, so like getting the families and stuff involved, I'm sure that's pretty neat for you to have all these people doing that and getting especially the kids. I mean, like the youth, they're bringing in people to watch them, so that's just more viewership for you and more exposure out there. So I asked this question a lot to a lot of drivers since you've raced in real life, which I did not know. So it was neat that you pulled that out. I'm sure there's a lot of people that when we post this in SLR Nation later, they're gonna be like, "You raced in real life?" And they're gonna be like, "Yep." But if you could race against any driver, past or present, any division, any series, could be online, or whatever it is, who would it be and why?
My dad.
And,
My dad.
mm-hmm.
Again. My dad's a 98 track champion at Pat Valley. All right. And that track alone is a small bull ring. Bring it up, and it's a wonderful small bull ring, but it's a high bank bull ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a 2-time track champion there in go-karts, if you don't mind. I'm an 03 and an 04 track champion there. And, it's amazing to know what my dad has done for me all of his life and all of his years, and I also raced on that track more than anything. And my dad was running street stocks at the time, and if I could get in with street stock at the same time with him, I think we would have a really good show. If you look at turn 4 up there, my dad actually planted my dad in the turn 4 wall one day.
Wow. You did that? So you
Yeah, I
lived
did
on.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that story. So why'd you take out your dad?
Well, he was a little bit faster than me. A white flag, checkers coming out, and he was on the outside of me, and I just kind of like went, started grazing up, and
Sorry, Dad.
boom!
Sorry,
Yeah,
Dad.
sorry. I mean, I was 16 at the time, but he's always been proud of me for what I've been doing and how I've doing, and I hope, sooner or later, we'll be. That's not Pat Valley. That's Thunder Valley. That's back in the day.
Okay, so
But
that's Thunder. Okay,
yeah, that's Thunder Valley.
they kind of look the same. All right,
I
but
know all these short tracks are the same, man. It's pretty neat.
so iRacing, of course, just added I-55 into the racing game.
Hmm.
What's your initial intake on that? Was it when the drivers first started getting on it? Was it interesting, or are they really getting the hang of it?
Well, it was interesting at first because I ran a couple shows on that. Like when I first Friday came up or Saturday came up, it was all I-55, 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 and I noticed some things about I-55. The three events that I ran there, the first week of it, it was 2 lanes of racing, and each finish was like a car banging on a door, or it was like just like a half a second pass or whatever, or it's a very racy track if it's set up right.
Hmm. Yeah, I was. It is a definitely very racy track. I have not figured it out yet. I like that turn four wall quite a bit. I go low into turn like three, and my car just naturally wants to get up. I go up to the outside, and it always hits the outside wall.
And it hits and catches and hits the wall. See
And
ya.
then,
Have a
and then
nice
I'm
day.
yep. But yeah, it's cool. So
You should
you
take a ride for
mentioned
this person.
the yeah, so you mentioned the big block league that's coming out for SLR. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
James Grace coming on board. He's out of California, so he couldn't unfortunately join us tonight because of his scheduled work. But
Right.
that's got to be a little bit cool for you. Some of like that's where like really the best of the best get to go and run in part of the SLR league.
Well, James Grace and I have been talking about it, and we've been talking about doing this for a long time, and I'm gonna actually see if I can find this um, picture for you. I know I got it in here somewhere, but it's gonna be a big block series. It's gonna run Tuesdays and Thursday nights. I believe it's in the Discord somewhere, and it's gonna be a big money race so far. So it looks like we're gonna be doing like a $20 entry fee for SLR's top 40 best of the best. Like
Mhm.
James Grace is going through a fine tooth comb trying to find the best of the best of SLR. And it's going to be like a $20 deal to pay in for the whole season, 8-week season. And there's a little points fund, points skings, and each week the winner probably it's supposed to be like a total pot of $800 so far. Now that's not
Wow.
including what I'm putting in either.
Hmm.
So it's looking like maybe 125 to win each feature event, paid down the top 10.
Hmm.
Well, if I decide to throw in, I'm thinking about throwing $500 to $1,000 towards the
Yeah.
points championship fund.
Hmm.
So the winner could take $1,000 if possible.
Wow. Well, that's awesome that you guys are getting the funding to do an iRacing league. That's cool.
Yeah, James and I talked about it a lot, and we're hoping to make it the best one out there. We have actually 2 head admins. I will not be making calls.
Hmm.
How neat
So
is that?
so you're just gonna be the kind of the announcer broadcaster in there.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Nice.
sir. Yes,
Nice.
sir. I brought 2 guys in that don't race SLR at all. And those 2, we got 2 different ones, one for Tuesday nights and one for um, Thursday nights. And I just sent you that logo.
Hmm. Okay, I'll look at
And
that right now.
And it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not quite 100% sure how many guys have paid up right now at this time. I think there it is. Yes,
Yep.
sir. And I'm thinking, as I get up him, what he said he's got at least 24 paid in already out of the 40.
Nice.
So
that's good. Very good. So I'm not gonna keep you here all night because I know you got some stuff you gotta do. But first of all, I asked everybody this question: what is out of all the things you get to do in racing, what has been your favorite part?
real life or iRacing?
Whatever, either it could honestly be both.
Or is it an announcer?
Whatever you want.
Whatever I want. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take it as SLR and iRacing. And I never knew I had this announcing talent until this. Okay, never knew. And that is what is the best thing ever. When you see 70, 80 live, some 90, 100 people watching your stream, and they're going, man, this guy's good. Man, this guy's good. What? Who is this guy? And you're bringing in that people into a show. That is the greatest thing ever because I'm sitting here making other individuals happy. Is that weird? It's like,
Yeah.
it's that feeling where you're like, dang, you're really doing something. Like you're trying to make a positivity in life, and that's what I want to do in life.
Yeah, and you're kind of like touching a heart. That's pretty good.
I do.
So is there anything you want to know about me or the podcast? We got
Who's Brady Hauser?
Yes, it's a lot. Yes, it's all your drivers. So I'm a 16. Of course, I'm a 16-year-old media pursuer. I announce full time at Royal Mountain Ski Area and Glen Ridge Sports Park. Um, so back when COVID first hit in the March of 2020, I was in my bedroom bored. Of course, NASCAR, they had their iRacing series going on, their NASCAR Pro Invitational. I got bored one day. I told my parents, "Look, I'm gonna start a podcast. There's nothing going on outside the world, in the world. Everybody's locked in their homes. Let's try to do. I'm gonna start this podcast, start interviewing drivers." Well, they looked at me because I'm gonna be honest with you. I have autism, and they kind of looked at me like, "Oh boy, he's gonna make a fool out of himself." And they owned up to it. Now they own up to it. Now that it's kind of where it's at, but uh, they said I was gonna make a fool out of myself, and I went on to a Twitch stream actually. Landon Castle from NASCAR was live, and he only had like 10 viewers watching. It's all his buddies and stuff. So I figured, well, I'm gonna throw it out there. I want to start a podcast. Maybe he can come on my show. Well, I'll be sure as hell he comes on. He texts me right back. Well, I'm bored. Let's do it. Let's do a 20-minute live video. So we went on Instagram live that night, which my anniversary actually was just yesterday. I had my 2-year anniversary for that podcast yesterday, my first ever podcast. So that was 2 years ago yesterday. I did the live. I was very nervous. You could tell like when I was stuttering, and he was helping me out through it, and it was good. And that kind of settled a local flair. A lot of because I'm from upstate New York, and of course Fonda Speedway and Albany Saratoga Speedway, kind of my home tracks. That kind of got a local flair in. It brought in a lot of local drivers in. Said, "Hey, can we come on your show?" Of course they have their sponsors. They want to give them a little bit of publicity. And so I did that, and then I had a media internship come through for a little bit. I did an internship with a popular dirt racing company. And then just a couple years, 2 Marches ago, I would get a contact because Fonda Speedway. There was no fans in the stands; they're just live on floor racing. Um, they had a hold on 1 second. I got somebody reaching out to us already. we started the podcast. Of course, and then we get into the announcing part. I got contact from Jay Severson, great guy. He announces Devil's Bowl now up in Vermont. He contacted me, said, "Well, you have the passion. You want to be here. We have a undercard race every week, and we'd love to have you come join us for a week." and I started doing that. Did that for a couple weeks. Got got a nickname called I got a nickname now called Old Trouble because
Oh
I
boy.
somebody so shout out to Todd Morey, a big announcer buddy of mine. He's in his 4 cylinder. He's going into 3 or 4 at Honda. You don't lift 3 or 4 at Honda. His brakes fail. Boom! Right in the outside. Oh,
Oh.
here's me on the microphone. Oh, trouble! He's in the wall. And that ever since then, that's been my nickname. And so I started that, and then I started at the Ridge last year. I got my first full year of the Ridge. Just did it for volunteer. Got to have fun with Jay and couple other buddy of mine. And then one of the Supercross guy from Royal Mountain, he contacted me because their head announcer was having some family complications and couldn't pursue his duties as an announcer. Said we'd like to have you come do it, and now I have that gig full time. And then right now I'm announcing full time at the Ridge, and then in my off time I'm doing interviews like this, interviewing drivers in the pits. I'll be at Albany, Saratoga, and Thompson Speedway actually this weekend, and then on iRacing with you guys every week.
Sounds like you have a good plan of things.
Mm-hmm. And then
So
of
now I'm
course,
gonna.
okay,
Good. Sorry.
you're
Good.
good. You're good. You're good.
So I'm gonna turn this podcast on to me, on you, because that's who I am. You know that.
I know how you are. You me go back a little ways, so yeah,
Yeah.
I know how you
Well.
work.
Anyway, man. But you know how things happen. You know what, iRacing, man. What is your greatest iRacing moment, as far as not even your own self, either
Greatest.
driving, best race? What do you got?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Peter. I've ran iRacing a lot. I suck. I'll be the first to admit I suck. I've had my fair share of straight lines and my fair share of wrecking people and my fair share of getting involved in other people's messes. And honestly, though, the best race I've been in on iRacing or been a part of was just a couple weeks ago. Your race, actually. We had Peyton Talbot, we had Bryce Bailey, and we had I think it was Ryan Kuthall. There were 3 wide coming to checkered, and they all they touched coming to the line. We didn't know who won, and you didn't know
Yep.
who won. I think personally, going back and watching all the races I've been to, that one's been the best.
So now, is that what you think attracts viewership and people to these shows?
I don't think it's the racing that attracts the viewership. I think it's just how the broadcast is, how the broadcaster is. I think if it's a fun atmosphere, even if the race is bad, people are still going to come and watch. If the broadcast is fun, like I've learned that in like racing, if the track is like very like locked down and it's slick, as long as the broadcaster or the announcer is still into it and is like hyped up and getting everybody into it, people are still going to come and they're still going to enjoy themselves.
That's what I love doing. Well, we both kind of do. Is bringing that fun back into something.
Oh yeah.
So one last question for you, and I always ask everybody: friends, family, and sponsors, you want to thank?
I was gonna I'll flip that back to you. I'll start with you, and then I'll go into that.
Alrighty, well, we're gonna flip it back here, ladies and gentlemen. It is Peter Neuder here at SLR, man. My sponsors are Drew Blaze from Blaze Designs, man. You want a wrap, you want a t-shirt, something, you just let me know. Apparently, Bicknell Racing Products is now on my new car as well. Swan Speed Shop, man. Everything I do is fast, and Swan Speed Shop fast. Do not forget mfjerky.com for all your jerky needs and everything else like that, coffees and everything else and stuff like that. SLR10, I believe, is the code on that. And other than that, that's about it for me. Back to you.
MS jerky. That sounds pretty good right now. You're getting me hungry. You're getting me hungry now, man. This is not okay.
Should I get some hot dogs?
All right. Let's not go into that. Let's keep this. Let's keep
that
this
is PG.
PG. Well, I know how you.
I'm talking about legit hot dogs now. I'm not talking. Oh Jesus, man.
But yeah, my sponsors, of course, Tad Parks at Parks Companies LLC. They've been a absolute best help out of us. They're really great guy there. Obviously, he was at the car show just this past weekend around Port Mall. If you look this year, for all the people at home that don't know, his car for Rocky Warner this year at Fonda Speedway, Look for my sticker on the side of that car. I am on that car. But yeah, he's been a great help. Swagger Factor Apparel. They made these awesome custom official jerseys for me, and Mikey Jackson there has been very good with that. And very cool guy to hang out with and work with. And of course, just my mom and dad. Of course, they always give me a lot of support, and they let me embarrass myself in the basement every week, interviewing people. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to do what I've been doing the past couple of years. And I'll leave this here with you, Peter. It's kind of what my motto is. Kind of like my what. So I interviewed Alan Bestwick from NASCAR ESPN about a year ago, and he gave me this advice, and I leave this in every podcast. It was dare to dream. Dare yourself to dream big. So you want to dare yourself to earn that dream. If you want that dream, dare yourself to do it, and one day you'll get there. And I'll leave it with that. Other than that, uh, I'll let you plug your social medias quick.
Oh, if you guys want to check out Brady Hauser win his first ever SLR feature, man, please
Yeah,
check
right.
out www.twitch.tv/SLR0X. It's exclusive there as well. And if you really want to, I also have Discord as well. Feel free to hit me up off that Twitch site.
Perfect. And of course, I'm on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of it. You name it. Hit me up on TikTok. I just recently hit like 4,000 followers or something like that. That's pretty cool.
Shoo!
But yeah, YouTube, of course, we're here. This is what we're watching it on. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you click the notification bell down in the bottom corner. And I really appreciate all the support that you guys have given me the past 2 years. And of course, like I said yesterday, was our anniversary, and I couldn't thank everybody enough. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a dream for sure, getting to do what I do every day, and I'm looking forward to what the future's got in store for me. And Peter, appreciate you coming on the show, and we're gonna see you probably this weekend on SLR.
Friday.
Sounds good. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been Peter Neuder and me doing the Out of the Fast Lane broadcast. For right now, we're saying so long, and we will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.